thank you for attending my presentation. I'm Eun-A Ko, and I'm going to be presentation on the subject of effect of real-time land cover change in the intertidal zone on meteorological and ozone prediction in coastal areas. My presentation today will consist on 4 parts: introduction, meteorological and method, result and discussion, and summary and conclusion. Coastal region undergo continual change in coastal line and land cover type due to the dynamic interaction between the ocean and land, including erosion and sediment disposition driven by the oceanic physical processes such as wave and tide, as well as human activities. Alteration in coastal land cover can result in change in land surface parameter in adjacent areas, consequently impacting their local meteorological conditions. Their local meteorological conditions directly and indirectly affect the diffusion, accumulation, and transport of ozone concentration in and around this area. Despite the significance of high resolution, the land cover and land use in meteorological and air quality simulation of the intertidal zone, in most period studies, and the land cover configuration in meteorological model remains fixed throughout the simulation. This practice has contributed to uncertainties and limitations in meteorological and air quality prediction within and around the intertidal zone, hampering our understanding of the complex physical products and their feedback mechanism between the intertidal zone and the atmosphere. Therefore, to enhance meteorological and air quality prediction for coastal areas, the real-time land cover change in the intertidal zone were applied to the 3-dimensional meteorological model, and the meteorological fields that incorporated time-varying land cover due to tide were used input to the air quality model. For this study, our focus was centered on the intertidal zone of Gyeonggi Bay, which represents the largest intertidal zone along the western coast of South Korea. The study period was selected to be the 3 days before and after the 15th day of the lunar day, when the tidal influence is greatest. The study period was selected to be 3 lunar day, when the tidal influence is greatest and high ozone concentrate occurring in the last 10 years. The WAP version 3.8 meteorological model was employed to assess the impact of time-varying land cover due to tide in the intertidal zone on coastal meteorological change, and we used air quality model CMAQ version 502 was employed to assess the impact of change in meteorological in the intertidal zone due to tide on coastal ozone concentration. The detailed description of the WARP and CMAQ model used in simulation is shown in the table. The tidal simulation consisted of the model run with time-varying land cover, and control simulation consisted of run with fixed land cover. The LAMS ocean model was used to calculate the hourly spatial change in the model grid corresponding to the area of the intertidal zone. To obtain more accurate intertidal area for assessing meteorological and ocean impact, the intertidal zone derived from the coupled model was adjusted using multiplicational image from the Landsat 8 OLI satellite image. When applying the finally calculated intertidal area to geogrid in the WAP model, the land mass on the grid corresponding to the intertidal zone were modified from ocean and land, and the land use from water body to herbaceous wetland. Using this modified geogrid, the WAF model was conducted continuously at 1-hour intervals. Overall, the comparison of the intertidal zone applied to the WAF model with the satellite-based intertidal zone showed moderately good spatial homogeneity during high and low tide. The international zone at the low tide in the WAF model was similar to the satellite image. Therefore, we determine the time-varying intertidal zone simulated in this study is well simulated. From the WAF simulation using the adjusted intertidal area, the change in land use categories owing to intertidal land cover variation substantially affected the change in land surface parameter. In the tidal simulation, following the land use change from water body to herbaceous wetland, the mean albedo and surface roughening length values in the intertidal zone were significantly higher than contour simulation. Conversely, soil moisture values were significantly lower than contour simulation. These alternation in land surface parameter in the tidal simulation are affected to influence meteorological conditions and ozone concentration. We compare tide and contour simulation and observations to assess the effect of time-varying land cover in the intertidal zone on the accuracy of meteorological variables and ozone concentration. In general, temporal variation showed closer agreement with the observation at most sites in the tidal simulation compared to the contour simulation. Notably, change in the most meteorological variables and ozone concentration were more pronounced in the intertidal area during low tide than during high tide. This difference can be primarily attributed to the substantial alteration in land surface parameter during low tide as opposed to high tide, owing to significant land cover change in the intertidal zone. To examine the spatial impact of time-varying land cover on ozone concentration, the difference in meteorological variables were compared for daytime and nighttime at low tide during the study period. First, the daytime. The ozone concentration in the tidal simulation increased by an average of 11.82 ppb in the intertidal areas and increased by an average of 6.45 ppb in the inland area. The change in ozone concentration were more pronounced in the intertidal zone, where land cover changed indirectly. The ozone concentration in the intertidal zone during daytime could be attributed to elevated photochemical production due to the increase in the air temperature. In the inland, the increased ozone concentration could be attributed to elevated sea breeze from the intertidal zone transported ozone concentration to the inland areas. Also, the accumulation of ozone concentration in the inland area was likely due to the decrease in wind speed. Second, the nighttime. The ozone concentration in the tidal simulation increased by an average of 4.98 ppb in the intertidal areas and increased by an average of 5.57 ppb in the inland area. Given the absence of photochemical production of ozone concentration at night, the increase in the nighttime at low tide ozone concentration is likely due to the persistence of elevated daytime ozone concentration into the night. Additionally, the decrease in wind speed in the intertidal zone likely contributed to some acclimation and increase in ozone concentration. Integrate process rate analysis were performed to analyze the relative contribution of physical and chemical process to ozone concentration change. In the intertidal zone of the tide experiment, chemical and vertical process which are mainly influenced by increasing the air temperature change reactive rate contributes significantly to ozone production. Inland ozone concentration increased significantly with proximity to the intertidal zone, with horizontal advection contributing a large positive contribution. This suggests that stronger rear intertidal area sea breeze transportation ozone concentration from its tidal zone to inland. In this study, we conduct a quantitative analysis to assess the influence of time-barren land cover within the intertidal zone on coastal meteorological variables and ozone concentration. This result relevated that temporal change in the intertidal zone had a significant impact on ozone concentration in both the intertidal and surrounding area. Notably, this impact and contribution of time-barren land cover within the intertidal zone to change in meteorological variables were significantly greater at the intertidal zone compared to inland during the low tide. Therefore, this study is significant as a quantitative assessment of the impact of real-time land cover change in the intertidal zone on coastal ozone concentration. That's all I have prepared for you today. Thank you for your time.